were just talking as we were walking down the hall, in her third year and doing a great job. And we know this is going to be the best year yet. And we are so grateful for your willingness to host us today. I also want to say thank you to our secretaries, Jacob Oliva, who heads up the Department of Education, and Secretary Shay Lewis, the Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism, who are great partners in what we're doing here today, as well as Doug Schoenrock, who heads and runs the Arkansas Department of Game and Fish, and Catherine Andrews, who is the director of the Office of Outdoor Recreation, also known probably as the Department of Fun. So probably one of the best jobs in all of government happens at y'all's agency, and certainly today I think reinforces that. One of my top priorities as governor has been expanding access to outdoor recreation in Arkansas. We've made big investments across our state to achieve that goal, and they've contributed to record-breaking tourism. Tourism is now our second largest industry and employs over 72,000 Arkansans. But the reason I care so strongly about promoting outdoor recreation goes far beyond growing our economy and creating jobs. It's because I want our kids to grow up loving and enjoying God's beautiful creation right here in Arkansas, the way that Brian and our family love to do. And I want every kid in our state to have that same opportunity. Today, too many kids spend way too much time on screens and not enough time outdoors. The CEO of Outdoor Magazine recently shared a shocking statistic. The average prison inmate now spends more time outside than the average kid. Instead, our kids are far too often inside and alone, spending hours and hours in front of screens, consuming unhealthy and dangerous content. That's not just bad for those kids' physical health. It also has tragically led to skyrocketing rates of anxiety, suicide, and depression. My administration is working hard to change that. It's why I signed a sweeping ban on cell phones bell to bell in every single Arkansas public school. I'm sorry to the kids, but you'll thank us one day, I promise. It's why we're investing hundreds of millions of dollars in capital projects to expand access to hunting, fishing, hiking, biking, rock climbing, and paddling across our state. It's why we've partnered with the Game and Fish to launch the Outdoor Education Initiative, including right here at this school. And it's why I'm here today to make another exciting announcement for our state's kids, the launch of the My Natural State Story Contest. The goal is simple. We want our kids to get outdoors for adventures across the natural state. Tell us about it and inspire more kids to follow their lead. And any kid in Arkansas, ages 10 through 17, will be able to submit an essay of up to 500 words on our website based on real outdoor adventure that he or she experienced here in Arkansas. Entries can be in one of 7 categories: hunting, fishing, boating or paddling, climbing, cycling, or mountain biking, camping, or hiking. Students will be divided into 2 age groups, ages 10 to 13 and ages 14 to 17. Once the submission period closes, we'll name 1 winner from each age group in each category and 2 overall My Natural State Stories of the Year in each age bracket. We'll host the winners and their families for dinner at the Arkansas Governor's Mansion, and each will be awarded prizes by leaders in our state's thriving outdoor recreation industry. For example, the best cycling and mountain biking stories will win a family day pass to the bike park in Bella Vista, a USA Cycling prize pack, and an Ozark Trail mountain bike. The best fishing stories will receive $1,000 from Pradco Fishing to buy any gear of their choice. Kind of jealous that I don't get to participate. And the best overall stories will receive a free lifetime and hunting fishing license from the Game and Fish, plus a $500 gift package. Our kids who love the outdoors are very disappointed that they too are not eligible for any of these prizes. But I'm sure if our 11-year-old son George were able to submit a story, he would tell about a memorable turkey hunt that he had last spring. Brian and our friend Grant Westmoreland took our sons Huck and George turkey hunting in the Ozarks, and each of the boys had a very successful hunt. Afterwards, they were processing the birds, and Grant explained that turkeys actually swallow small rocks and grit so that their gizzard can use them to grind up the food. Just stick with me, it's a good story, I promise. He removed the rocks from each of the turkey's gizzards and put them in small jars for our boys to take home. Later that evening, Huck and George were playing outside at the governor's mansion. We had recently turned the fountains back on for the season, and the boys decided to go for an unsanctioned swim. They kicked off their boots, set their jars full of turkey rocks on the ground, and jumped in. When they got out barefoot and soaking wet, they hopped back on their scooters. You might be able to tell where the story is going, but while scootering around the fountain, George stepped barefoot onto his jar, shattered it, and cut his foot open in multiple places. Brian found him sitting there crying, screaming, "Daddy, I'm bleeding out, I'm bleeding out, and I've lost my turkey rocks forever." Thankfully, his older brother went and painfully picked up each of those rocks, and so we still have them on display. We sped him to Children's Hospital and tried our best to explain the story to some very confused doctors. Luckily, the cuts didn't require stitches, and George was only on crutches for about a week. He didn't seem to mind because it allowed him the opportunity to share this ridiculous story about his epic hunt with all of his friends. Now, that story may not be what every parent hopes for when their kids go outside, but it's definitely a story that my family will remember and laugh at, but also be a great reminder to be grateful for God's amazing blessing that we get to live here in the natural state. And it's the type of story, but hopefully with fewer injuries, that we want kids to submit for My Natural State Story contest. Fun, adventurous, and uniquely Arkansas. I want to thank all the partners who have helped make this idea a reality. Secretary Oliva in the Department of Education, Secretary Lewis in the Office of Outdoor Recreation, and Doug Schoenrock and the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. And I especially want to thank our sponsors, whose generosity has really taken this contest to the next level. I'm going to list a few: Banded, Pradco Fishing, the Arkansas Canoe Club, Frontier Climbing, USA Cycling, Ozark Trail Bike, Pack Rat Outdoor Center, Gearhead Outfitters, our state parks, and the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, who have all been very generous sponsors. I believe in the power of storytelling, and I can't wait to read the incredible stories from kids across our state that will inspire many others to fully experience the natural state. Thank you so much for being here. We look forward to hearing all of the great stories from around Arkansas, and with that, I'll turn it over to Secretary Oliva.
Thank you, Governor Sanders, and thank you to our colleagues and everybody's here that is excited to announce this essay contest. And when I think about the first gentleman's vision on supporting outdoor education and getting kids moving and outside and exploring and inspiring a sense of curiosity, getting their hands dirty, these are the memories that they're going to remember forever. And when they think about their childhood experiences, they're never going to think about what their score was on a spelling test, but they're going to remember the time the whole class got to go outside and go through the woods or swim across a stream and have a lot of fun. So to be able to tie some educational initiatives around creating more of these experiences is something that our agency is really excited to be a part of. When we think about kind of our natural state story, it's every day. And when we got the task or the charge to work with Game and Fish and parks and tourism, and we meet all the time to say, how can we create more experiences for students so that they can fall in love with the state? It's the team behind the scenes that are making it happen, and many of them are here today. So we're really grateful for their leadership and their commitment. But at the end of the day, what we know in education is learning is social. It's not done in isolation. And when we can break down the barriers in the walls of our classrooms and create learning experiences outside, it becomes pragmatic, it becomes real, and it's something that's going to be a joy that's remembered forever. So to be able to create some of these experiences in outdoor education and then challenge our students to write about them, which is ultimately the highest form of comprehension when we look at promoting literacy, is something that we're glad to partner with. We look forward to sharing this information with all the schools and seeing some amazing stories from the young scholars, especially the ones that are here with us today, because I know that's going to get us excited. So we're really grateful to be a part of this initiative. Thank you, Governor and First Gentleman, for your vision.
Good afternoon. My name is Shay Lewis. I'm the Secretary of the Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism, and it's great to be here at the North Little Rock 6 Academy. Again, we were here just in May. It feels like a long time ago because it was last school year, but we were here in May unveiling the All Kids Bike Program here, and that was an exciting day to see the students of this school have the opportunity to learn how to ride Strider bikes in the gymnasium and to be a part of that. So we appreciate your partnership and the role that you're playing here and just the role that outdoor recreation can play in our education system. I'll echo Secretary Oliva's comments. We have such a tremendous team that works behind the scenes to help make these things back. Catherine, your new department is the Department of Funds, so that's I love that, and we are fortunate to have such a fun component of what we do at the Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism. It's important work, and Catherine, you're doing a great job. Thank you for your leadership, your entire team, and we've got folks behind the scenes like Cheyenne who build our website and things like that that happen that help make these things possible today, that we all appreciate the work. And what we do on a daily basis is really making Arkansas a great place to live, work, and raise a family. And everything that we try to do is directly connected to the quality of life in Arkansas. We're so fortunate to live in this beautiful state. We want people to be out and enjoying it. And it starts at a young age. You know, for many of us that grew up in the outdoors, we have very specific memories of playing creeks or hiking in a trail or experiences and we want that to continue across the natural state. Time outdoors supports kids' physical, mental, and overall well-being. Their physical, mental health, and overall well-being, and we know that that's an important part of it, and that's part of our goals through this program as well. Outdoor recreation is a growing and important part of the Arkansas economy, and we want it to continue to grow. We're investing in trails, parks, outdoor businesses, and in destinations, but we also have to invest in the next generation of people who see and care for them. And that's a large part of the work of the Natural State Initiative. When Governor Sanders came into office and created the Natural State Initiative, it's being led by the First Gentleman, Brian Sanders. Part of what Jacob said was exactly what we're trying to do is work together across department lines and work together to find ways to be creative, whether that's within the cabinet or outside of the cabinet, for us to work together and help promote the state of Arkansas. So the stories, when they get submitted, whether it's a story about hunting, fishing, paddling, climbing, cycling, camping, or hiking, we can't wait to read them. We know that stories are a large part. We just heard the governor tell such a great story. You're such a good storyteller. We all want to be like that as well. I can't wait to read the stories of the school kids that bring those in and to understand their perspectives on what the natural state is all about. Our partners in Arkansas's outdoor businesses and organizations have stepped up along our state agencies to invest in the new and next generation of outdoor recreation. Kids who grow up in outdoors become the future workforce, business owners, and conservationists of Arkansas. And they will protect what they love. Getting kids outdoors helps create the people who will protect the natural state for tomorrow. So thank you for your participation today, and please join me in welcoming Director of Arkansas Game and Fish, Doug Schoenrock.
Well, thank you, and what an exciting opportunity for students in the natural state to compete in writing about something that is so Arkansas and yet so natural. That's getting outside and really doing what they love to do. And it's appropriately named My Natural State Story. You know, at Arkansas Game and Fish, we're honored to play a role in this contest. And it's a contest that fits perfectly with the governor's outdoor education initiative that was launched last year, which is now in year 2 of placement in schools throughout the state. And importantly, it's also a contest that places 3 state agencies working in collaboration together on behalf of the natural state. And it's a program like this and the Arkansas Outdoor Education Initiative that is going to keep Arkansas at the forefront of outdoor education on a national basis. So we're looking forward to seeing and reading the creativity from the students throughout the state as they write about their natural state story, my natural state story. I'd like to thank Governor Sanders and your staff for this wonderful idea. And I would like to encourage all of you and all of the people watching to get outdoors and get outdoors often. This concludes today's announcement, and thank you for being here.